Hello, and welcome back to Meghan and Harry Tales, where we peel back the glossy curtain of royal PR and bring you the stories that truly matter. I'm your host, Adrian, and today we're diving into Prince William's latest publicity stop, his tour of Dartmoor, presented with all the royal fanfare you'd expect, but lacking the real-world sincerity and global purpose we so often see from Harry and Meghan. Yes, the Duchy of Cornwall has just unveiled a sweeping 20-year environmental strategy for the moorland. Sounds impressive, right? But we're asking the important question today. Is this truly about climate action, or just another staged appearance to repair an increasingly crumbling royal image? Let's take a closer look at what Prince William did or didn't achieve in Dartmoor, and how this glossy environmental tour compares to the genuine, people-centred activism of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. So, Prince William visited Dartmoor. He toured the Tor Royal Bog, yes bog, and observed ongoing peatland restoration. The headlines call it a historic moment for British conservation. But here's the problem: these royal visits are more about optics than outcomes. William shows up, chats with a few farmers, gets photographed in a Barber jacket looking concerned, and then flies back home. Meanwhile, the real work is left to underfunded environmental groups who have been shouting about ecological destruction for decades, long before the royals caught on. Let's not forget, William only inherited the Duchy of Cornwall after the Queen's passing, and with it came a massive portfolio of land and immense privilege. And now he wants to appear as a green warrior. Where was this energy 5 years ago? 10? Compare this to Meghan and Harry, who, despite being stripped of royal duties, launched Archewell Foundation initiatives tackling climate change, mental health and racial inequality with transparency and integrity. The Dartmoor initiative sounds grand. A 20-year plan, peatland restoration, sustainable farming, building resilience against climate change. And yes, it's great that land management is finally a concern. But when Prince William steps in, it becomes a royal branding exercise. It was environmentalists, not royals, who have been pushing these ideas for years. Organisations like Natural England, South West Water and the Dartmoor Commoners Council are doing the actual work, researching, restoring and protecting. But the headlines? They all focused on William. He met tenant farmers David and Justine Colton. He spoke to Morag Angus from the South West Peatland Partnership, and he posed for carefully arranged photographs. This is classic royal PR, amplify the prince while sidelining the actual changemakers. Contrast that with Meghan Markle, who, through Archewell, partners with grassroots organisations and gives them the spotlight. When Harry and Meghan talk climate, they cite sources. They listen to the science. And most importantly, they make space for experts, especially from underrepresented communities, to lead the conversation. Let's not ignore the timing. Prince William's Dartmoor visit comes during a particularly turbulent period for the monarchy. King Charles is dealing with health issues, Kate is recovering privately, and public trust in the institution is falling. What better time for William to step into the role of eco-prince? But environmentalism isn't a part-time performance. It's not a photo opportunity once every few months. It's a long-term commitment to systemic change, something Harry and Meghan have shown they're serious about. Let's remember Harry's 2021 op-ed calling for vaccine equity and climate action at the G20 summit, or Meghan's podcast episodes on sustainable parenting and the environment. These weren't one-off appearances. These were deeply researched, values-driven platforms. Now let's talk about the Duchy of Cornwall itself. It's one of the largest landowners in the UK and has been accused for years of being out of touch with modern land management and tenant needs. For example, farmers on Duchy land have long complained about rising rents, lack of access to resources, and minimal representation in decision-making. While William toured Dartmoor smiling for cameras, many of these tenants continue to struggle. The new rural skills pool and affordable housing sound great on paper, but we've seen vague promises like these before. Where is the accountability? Where is the transparency? Again, Harry and Meghan come to mind. Their charitable work consistently includes regular progress updates, financial transparency, and community inclusion. From community kitchens to renewable energy partnerships in underserved areas, they walk the walk. Let's not overlook the problematic optics of royals playing saviour to the land. When Prince William arrives with a camera crew, it perpetuates the idea that nature conservation needs a wealthy white man to lead it. Environmentalism must be inclusive. It must centre Indigenous voices, local stewards of the land and long-time residents. Meghan and Harry have been consistent in this messaging. William? Not so much. In fact, his past statements have sometimes veered into problematic territory, like when he suggested overpopulation in Africa was a key climate threat, drawing widespread criticism for its tone-deaf and colonial undertones. This is why it's so important to scrutinise who gets to speak on climate issues, who gets the microphone, and who is pushed to the sidelines. The Dartmoor strategy says it will balance the needs of local communities and ecosystems. But here's a tough truth. Balancing usually means compromising, and more often than not, it's the communities who lose. What about the Commoners' Council, who expressed concern over restrictions that could limit traditional grazing rights? Or the emergency responders William thanked for tackling recent wildfires? Are they being given the resources and protections they need long-term? We didn't see William advocating for increased funding for these frontline workers. No policy suggestions, no commitments, just a thank you and a photo. Meanwhile, Meghan and Harry continue to invest in community resilience, from funding mental health resources for trauma responders to addressing food insecurity in the US and abroad. That's real impact, not just gestures. Let's zoom in on Prince Harry for a moment. He's been outspoken on climate issues since well before Megxit. Whether through his work with Travelist encouraging eco-conscious travel or addressing climate injustice at the UN, Harry has built credibility. He doesn't need a title to speak truth to power. He acts because he believes in it, not because a royal PR team handed him a schedule. Compare that with William's Earthshot Prize, a noble idea but heavily choreographed. The glitzy events, celebrity endorsements and vague reporting have drawn criticism for being more about image than systemic change. Real environmental work isn't glamorous, it's slow, detailed and often unpopular. But it's exactly the kind of work Harry and Meghan continue to uplift. Let's not forget Meghan's pivotal role. Her voice on sustainability, equity and wellness has reshaped how many young people see environmental justice. From her eco-friendly fashion initiatives to partnering with organisations like World Central Kitchen, Meghan shows that sustainability intersects with racial, economic and gender justice. And crucially, she leads with empathy, not entitlement. Unlike the performative top-down approach we saw on Dartmoor, Meghan centres people. Her projects are collaborative, they invite dialogue, they empower rather than dictate. So, while William roams a peat bog looking serious for the press, Meghan and Harry are quietly funding solar panels in underserved areas and helping communities prepare for climate shocks. We also need to address the media's role. William's Dartmoor visit was covered glowingly across major outlets, presenting him as a modern, engaged future king. Now imagine if Harry or Meghan had made a similar visit. You can already hear the headlines: "Woke royals invade countryside, Sussexes turn conservation into spectacle." Why is William allowed to reinvent himself as an environmentalist without critique, while Harry and Meghan are mocked or dismissed for doing the same? This double standard is part of why Harry and Meghan stepped back from royal duties in the first place. They refused to be silenced and refused to play along with the palace media pact. So here we are. Prince William visits Dartmoor, the headlines swoon, and the royal machine hums along. But behind the photos, very little changes. Meanwhile, Harry and Meghan continue building a new model of leadership, one rooted in humility, empathy and action. Environmentalism isn't about wearing wellies and posing on a windswept moor. It's about listening, learning and putting people and planet first. And on that front, the Sussexes continue to lead where others perform. If the royals truly want to be part of the solution, they need to drop the PR playbook and follow the example Harry and Meghan are setting day by day, action by action. Thanks for watching Meghan and Harry Tales. I'm Adrian. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more truth behind the headlines. See you next time.